First of all, I'd like to give a season's greetings also to you from India as well. There has been, talking about the Washington Post allegations. The government of India, apparently they have pressured LIC, and that amount has come to roughly $3.9 billion. Yeah, in Adani Group.
So, is wrong here.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, are you able to hear us? Mark, I'm going to check again. Are you able to hear us? Okay, so we're gonna have to check that line. What he was saying is he wasn't able to hear you, so that entire question was lost. It's
in
transit. It's in the wind, somewhere between here and Singapore or Hong Kong, one of the two.
Yeah.
Anyway, but let's talk in the meanwhile, while we're waiting for that to be fixed. Let's talk about the markets, and we're at the low point of the day, if I'm not mistaken, 0.5% lower for the benchmark Nifty 50, and it's been quite chop and churn. Only a small part of the session you've seen green on the screen for the benchmark Nifty 50. Let's pull up the heat map actually for the Nifty 50, right? Because that'll give you an indication. At the start of trade, you saw far more green on the screen than you're seeing right now. And this really is a turn in the tide, so to speak. In fact, let's pull up the broader markets as well and see what those indicators are telling you. Let's pull up the mid-cap index if we can, and the small cap index down about 1/3% for the mid cap index. Let's put up the small cap index as well, down about 0.1%. I think Mark's back.
Yeah, but overall, if you see, what's happening is there is no direction. We're trying to hit that 26,000 mark, and from there, it's a reversal that's taking place, and that's the story that markets are living with right now. When will we be able to actually cross that 26,000 mark and sustain above those 26,000 levels is anyone's guess right now, but that is going to be crucial from here on. In fact, we have Mark Mobius, co-founder Mobius Capital Partners, back with us. Mark, good afternoon. Hiral on this side. Are you able to hear us well now?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Great. So Sharad initially was giving you season's greetings from India. Happy Diwali and a Happy New Year to you. And we're looking forward to a Merry Christmas soon as well.
Well, thank you very much. We're enjoying Diwali here in Dubai, where I'm speaking to you from.
Oh, great. So with everything said and done, Mark, the key question right now is, what we're talking about is Washington Post's allegations, where Government of India has pressurized LIC to invest up to $3.9 billion in Adani Group. And this includes nearly $568 million done in the month of May of 2025 itself. Now, LIC has come ahead and refuted all of these allegations. What would you have to say to this?
Well, I think the whole story of Adani has been overblown. I think they're doing good work. It is true, being a family-oriented organization, it's no question there'll be cross-shareholdings, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, I think the company should get the support because they're so important to the infrastructure of India, in addition to other companies, of course. But I think it's fair for LIC to invest in Adani. It will help them as long as they keep an eye on the balance sheet and on the profit and loss statements and the audited statements, then it should be okay.
Right to say that it's another hit job which has actually fallen flat, because a lot of investors which are there in Adani's bond offerings, apart from an LIC, you have marquee names like ICICI Prudential, Nippon Mutual Funds, HDFC, NIF Infra, a lot of them. So would you categorically say this, that it is another hit job which is actually falling flat?
Yes, I think so. And I think, it's important to remember an investment in Adani is really an investment in India. Now, maybe some people would say that's going too far. When you invest in Tata or Reliance, you're also investing in India. But in the case of Adani, it's very important because of the infrastructure work they're doing. So I think it makes sense for them to keep on doing what they're doing. And those companies that are investing in Adani are doing fine.
Mark, we're speaking at a time when, at least right now, you've had a dissipation of selling in the Indian equity markets by foreign institutions. That's what the latest data is pointing to. You've seen index shorts been reduced over the course of a couple of weeks from 94% to now 74%. And that is why you've seen a little bit of a pullback in the benchmark as well, in the Nifty 50, and the large counters are seeing a little bit of buying once again. Banks and IT are being preferred. I'm just wondering what your opinion on India is at this juncture, because there has clearly been an underperformance versus other major markets in the world.
That's true. There has been underperformance. Part of the reason is that China has been doing quite well, and you've seen some investors switch from India to China. But I think that's very short-lived, because at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers, India with the GDP growth of 6%, which is quite amazing. You see inflation now coming to the lowest levels have been in a long, long time. So there are a lot of very positive signals. And of course, I believe they're going to come to some accommodation with the Trump administration. They already have seen some cutback in purchases of oil from Russia. So all these signals, I think, mean there'll be a good recovery in the Indian market. So we're betting on India going forward. The problem, of course, is getting access to India, because we're having a lot of trouble with some of our funds to get permission to invest in India, because Deutsche Bank, our local custodian, is having trouble with the paperwork and all the rest that has to go into that. But otherwise, yes, definitely India will be a place that we want to focus on.
Pretty interesting, Mark. India would be the place where the entire action takes place. But global commodity cycles also, we are seeing there is a kind of a technical pullback happening when it comes to gold and silver as well. Are we looking at a bigger upcycle from these current levels as well when it comes to gold and silver? What would be your views on that?
Yeah, we've seen a big pullback in gold, what about 10% pullback? I think that's temporary. We're still betting on gold. We think gold will still be something that we got to have in our portfolios. We still hold gold, and I think there will be recovery in gold as well, of course, with silver following gold.
Mark, one question I have. Last time I spoke to you, you told me Sensex at 1 lakh in the next 1 year. Do you think it could come in earlier, taking the way markets are right now? You're seeing an upcycle. There is some bit of a pause, but with all the factors which are aligning, do you think the 1 lakh mark could come in earlier?
Yes, it could be, particularly when you see the markets globally moving the way they are. And of course, if you keep an eye on the S&P in the US, it's going from strength to strength. If this continues, and if the political news keeps on gaining ground and being positive, with Trump traveling all over Asia, all these signals will be good for the markets. And yes, it's quite possible that the Sensex could go a lot higher than they are now.
Now, you said that you're looking at India very closely, Mark. So therefore, the question arises, and a lot of our viewers will be paying attention to this as well. Where are you looking to deploy? And if there are individual names that you're studying right now or have invested in, we'd love to hear them.
Well, I can't give you individual names because we're in the process of investing, but I can say that the consumer area is particularly interesting in India because you've got a huge consumer market. Per capita incomes are going up. With GDP growth, the way you're looking at it, it's going to be very, very interesting to be in the consumer space. So that would be one area. The other area, which I mentioned before, is consumer hardware. In addition to consumables, hardware will be good, and electronics hardware. As you know, I think the recent numbers indicate that Apple's exports from India have gone through the roof, and now these electronic exports are greater than many other items in the export list. So that is going to be a big, big area of growth. So we're seeking companies that are going to participate in that kind of growth.
Okay, so consumption is going to be a space that Mark is betting big on. Thank you so much for speaking to us at NDTV Profit. It's always a pleasure.